Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
After the game yesterday, the Yankees headed west, and they landed in the Valley of the Sun. And right now, here in the Valley of the Sun at Chase Field, it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Arizona Diamondbacks in the first game of a three-game interleague set from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with John Flaherty and Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees just finished a 10-game homestand, and really, moving forward, it was gigantic for them. John, they won 7 of 10, and they play very well.
Well, what they did, Michael, is they regained some confidence. They won a couple of series, which Joe Girardi always talks about. You get 7 wins at home, you play better in your home stadium against or in front of your home fans. I think the most important thing, you get the 7 wins, but you regain some confidence that you might have lost with a slow start.
Now, both the Yankees and the Diamondbacks trying to regain confidence. The Diamondbacks are expected to have great things happen this year with their big free agent signings, but it's been a disappointing start for them, and a disappointing start, Kenny, for their first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, but he's an all-star in the past, Michael. He's the type of player can do a lot of damage in the series. The Yankees hope they can shut him down over these 3 games here in Arizona. This is an example of what Goldschmidt can do. He's been a runner-up MVP twice in his career. He's been a multiple-time all-star. Plenty of power, but he's off to a very slow start. His team is off to a slow start as well in their home ballpark. They're just 5-16.
He has a pretty impressive resume. This is his 6th Major League season, 2-time National League MVP runner-up, 3-time All-Star, 2 Gold Gloves as well. And in the last 4 seasons, a .303 batting average, 108 home runs, and 386 runs batted in. He is an all-star indeed. Very interesting pitching matchup in this one, especially on the Yankee side. A rookie makes his Major League debut. Meredith Barakovich will break it down when we get back on Yes.
Meredith Morakovitz. It's time for this evening's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank, NA. See what know-how can do for you. The Yankees will send right-hander Chad Green to the mound. He'll be opposed by lefty Robbie Ray for the D-backs. Green is making his major league debut. He has pitched great in the minor leagues, an ERA under 2. He told me some of the adjustments he made to the grip on his slider have paid high dividends, and Joe Girardi agrees.
Seems to have some more depth, I think, which is important. Obviously, he's got a very good fastball and it's got some sink to it. But his breaking ball's got some more depth to it, and hopefully you can get some more swings and misses.
With their off-speed pitches and even your fastball, it's all about confidence, really, and being able to trust that pitch, being able to not try and make it do too much.
The biggest thing is for him to relax and to get him through the first inning, and then usually guys can settle in a little bit.
No pitch count for Green. He's stretched out from starting in the minors, but Joe Girardi sure could use some length. It's still questionable as to whether or not Betances, Miller, or Chapman will be available tonight. They have pitched on back-to-back days. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we get back, Robbie Ray gets the ball. Michael Kay with the call. He'll be joined by Ken Singleton and John Flaherty after the break.
Yes is brought to you in part by GMC. We are professional grade. Learn more at gmc.com. By JetBlue, enjoy the most awarded customer service in the sky. And by Honda, start something special with a great deal on a Honda now at your Honda dealer. Well, the band is excited about being here in Phoenix as they're opening the roof here at Chase Field. Actually, mild temperatures, a little bit. Last week it was up to 106, but today it was about 89 or 90, so they consider that beautiful weather, so they will open the roof today and open the panels as well. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. And we can tell you it's great out, 88 degrees, 13 miles per hour wind, not much humidity, it's mostly clear and hot. Well, this is the Yankees and the Diamondbacks, and those two teams are always going to be linked by the 2001 World Series, and exchanging the lineup cards at home plate, not only Chip Hale and Joe Girardi, but also Joe Torre and Bob Brenly, the managers in the 2001 World Series that the Yankees lost in the bottom of the ninth inning right here on this field in Game 7. A painful loss would have been the Yankees' 4th World Championship in a row. And Joe Torre, during the Joe Garagiola ceremony when he was introduced to the crowd, said if we only had a couple more runs. So that was an incredible World Series. The last game was incredible. The 2 games in New York with the home runs off Byung-Hyun Kim, just an amazing series. Yankee fans don't really consider it as fondly as Diamondback fans because they lost that World Series. So they're going over the ground rules right now, and no pressure on Bob Brenly or Joe Torre. But Joe Girardi and Chip Hale trying to straighten out what was a bad beginning of the season for their teams. Yankees took a big step forward, winning 7 out of 10, as John spoke about on the Open, and they really put themselves in the right direction. This road trip becomes very big for them. 3 games here and 4 games in Oakland.
Well, I think number one, this is where the Yankees have to turn it around. They've done it at home, but they're on the road. Their record is just 4-10. So the early season misery that they had in April, they have to turn it around and play like they have at home recently.
You know, it's amazing how quickly things change. If you think back to that homestand, the Boston Red Sox, Kansas City Royals, and Chicago White Sox, all good teams. Yankee fans may be a little stressed that it wasn't going to go well. You have a good homestand, and now you go on the road against 2 teams who aren't doing that great. Good time to make up some ground.
All right, so Robbie Ray's on the mound. He'll take his warm-ups, and we'll take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented by Lexus. Remember, National League Ballpark, Interleague Series, no DH in the series. The center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury, will lead off, batting second, and playing second, Starlin Castro. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll hit third. Cleaning up right fielder, Carlos Beltran. Chase Headley, who came alive in the last 9 games, had that big pinch hit double yesterday. He'll be the third baseman. He'll bat 5th. Batting 6th, playing left field, Aaron Hicks. D.D. Gregorius, the shortstop, is going to bat 7th. Batting 8th, catching Austin Romine. And the number 9 hitter he has not hit since high school, the Yankee pitcher, Chad Green.
And there's tonight's starter in the opening game of this 3-game series for the Diamondbacks. It's Robbie Ray, 24-year-old left-hander. And see his numbers on the year. The one win that he had came on April 19th at San Francisco against the Giants. And you can see his record overall. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Honda dealers. How about fast times at Brentwood High? He's from Brentwood, Tennessee. At Brentwood High threw 3 no-hitters during his high school career. And his last outing was kind of a rocky one, if you will. Pitched against the Colorado Rockies, went 4 2/3 innings, but he struck out 9. And it was a game that the Diamondbacks lost. He's got a very good changeup to go along with his fastball and slider.
Let's check out the defense presented by Geico. Yasmani Tomas is at left. Michael Bourne, first game as a Diamondback in center. Brandon Drury over and right. You got Jake Lamb at third. Nick Ahmed, who's an unbelievable shortstop. Gene Segura at second. Paul Goldschmidt at first. And Chris Herman is behind the plate with Robbie Ray on the mound. Ellsbury's ready. Robbie Ray is ready. And let's do it here at Chase Field. First pitch is a strike. We're underway. C.B. Buckner's the home plate umpire. Fielding Culbreth at first. Jim Reynolds at second. And Nick Lentz is the third base ump. Count 0-2.
Well, you talked to the Yankees before the game. They talked about the fastball, the velocity. Robbie Ray will come right at you. Over 70% fastballs. Jacoby Ellsbury saw 2 in a row.
That one is looped to the third baseman, Lamb, for the first out. They moved Lamb there after there were 2 strikes. They did not shift on him before there were 2 strikes, and then they moved the third baseman over to the second base side of second.
A lot of times they move the third baseman over because the shortstop has more range than the third baseman. That's why they leave the shortstop on the left field side of the second base.
And they keep the third baseman on the left side when the bunt is still a viable option, because he can charge better than a shortstop on the bunt. Starlin Castro takes a strike, 0-1. Chop towards second. Segura to Goldschmidt. 2 away.
Well, the Diamondbacks are hoping that Robbie Ray can perform better in his home park. His ERA here at Chase Field is over 8. There's manager Chip Hale trying to get the team going. They've lost 5 in a row. They have struggled here in this ballpark. On this homestand, they just got swept by the San Francisco Giants.
They're 5-16 at home, 11 games under 500 at home. And the first pitch to Teixeira is a strike.
And they lost a tough game here yesterday to the Giants, who completed a 4-game sweep of the Diamondbacks.
Teixeira was 1 for 4 yesterday with a walk, had a double in the 6th inning. On the homestand, the Yankees did well, but Teixeira struggled, 4 for 31. And the 0-2. 1-2.
Have you seen anything other than a fastball so far?
And you know what? He works fast, too. He gets on the mound. He gets a sign. He's attacking the Yankee hitters here in the 1st inning.
Fly ball shallow center. Late jump for Bourne. Let the plate on a hop. And a base hit for Teixeira with 2 outs.
Well, you mentioned the numbers from the homestand for Mark Teixeira. He'll take that right there. He doesn't barrel it up. Gets beat a little bit. Bourne doesn't get a good jump, and you take a base hit, your first at bat on the road trip.
You know, sometimes it doesn't take a major blast to get you going as far as your hitting is concerned. Sometimes you just need a little confidence that things are going to start going your way, and sometimes a bloop single can get you going in the opposite direction.
Here's Carlos Beltran, hit his 400th career home run in yesterday's game. A big home run, 2-run shot, gave the Yankees a lead. He got the ball back from a high school player who caught the ball out in left field and brought his whole team downstairs, and Beltran gave them advice on being players, and the kid was a real good kid and gave the ball to Carlos. Here's a ground ball to short. Ahmed will flip to second, and that will do it. So a quick top of the 1st inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Yankees nothing. Diamondbacks coming back. The Diamondbacks starting lineup that he's going to face. Gene Segura at second will lead off. Batting second and playing center field, Michael Bourne. Paul Goldschmidt at first base will hit third. Cleaning up third baseman Jake Lamb. Yasmani Tomas, the left fielder, will bat 5th. Batting 6th, playing right field, Brandon Drury. Chris Herman will catch, will bat 7th. Batting 8th, playing shortstop, Nick Ahmed. And Robbie Ray, the pitcher, will bat 9th.
And there is Chad Green, 24-year-old right-hander making his major league debut. Pitched very well down at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Didn't allow more than 2 runs in any of his 7 starts, and that bears out with a 1.22 ERA. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Honda dealers. A ground game. He's got movement on his fastball. If he gets a lot of ground balls, remember the night that Ivan Nova had the other night, the game that he pitched. A lot of ground balls. If his sinker's working, that's what you'll see. And at the University of Louisville, he was a Friday night starter, which means you are the ace of the staff. And he's a Cape Cod League alum. That's probably the best wooden bat league for college players in the summer. He pitched for the Bourne Braves. And remember the movie Summer Catch? They made a movie about that league. Freddie Prinze Jr., Jessica Biel. Great summertime movie.
So he takes a deep breath and he embarks on his major league career as he delivers his first pitch. And there's a strike. Diamondbacks 17-23. Segura off to a great start, 331, 5 homers and 19 runs batted in.
Segura is a type of leadoff hitter. He doesn't walk very often. Let's put it this way. He's walked 4 times this year. It's tough to walk this guy, but he's a good hitter. 54 hits, second in the National League to Daniel Murphy of the Nationals, who's got 2 more than he has. And so far in the early going, Segura has been their best hitter.
Swing and a miss as Chad Green records his first strikeout. They toss the ball into the Yankee dugout for safekeeping. And Steve Donnie will mark that up and present it to Green after the game. Let's check out the Yankees defense, which is presented by Geico. Hicks, Ellsbury, and Beltran left to right in the outfield. Infield, it's Headley, Gregorius, Castro, and Teixeira. That's third to first. And Romine behind the plate with Chad Green on the mound. There's a strike.
Well, let's think back about Chad Green. He comes over in the Justin Wilson trade, right? He comes to camp and he does not have a good camp. Was not very impressive. Went down to AAA. Nice fly ball to left field, and he got the job done down there. And then a month and a half into the season, you find yourself at Chase Field. You pick up a strikeout, your first at bat. And you look forward to having a quality start tonight. And I'll tell you what, I don't see any nerves pounding the strike zone.
He made a couple of good pitches to Segura. The one that was off the plate that Segura chased. You know, he's the type of hitter who's going to swing. So that was a good pitch. He got himself out, basically. Let's see, man. He tried him upstairs. He checked his swing. Almost swung at that one.
Here's Paul Goldschmidt. And that one is clubbed to left field. See ya. A long home run for Goldschmidt. And the Diamondbacks lead 1-0.
Well, we talked about him in the open, and the Diamondbacks have been waiting on him to get going. He gives them a 1-0 lead here. In the series against the Giants, a 4-game series, he was 1 for 14. He's 1 for 1 in this series.
Well, there's so many expectations for the Diamondbacks coming in with the new pitcher, Zach Greinke, Goldschmidt, the perennial all-star here, having a slow start, but looking to pick it up. Chad Green picks up his first strikeout in this inning. Also gives up his first major league home run to a brand name.
Here's Jake Lamb. Count 1-0.
Let's take a look at the pitch. The target's down and away, but he missed the target. It's kind of up middle of the plate in, and Paul Goldschmidt put his A swing on it.
Like any young pitcher, you're going to see how he rebounds after that first pitch. Fastball elevated a little bit. We'd love to see him get right back at it. Gets ahead in the count 1-2.
Now with 2 strikes, they move Headley over to the right side of second base. And the pitch. 2-2.
Well, you take a look at it again, and that's the Goldschmidt swing. Slightly upswing. Got a good power stroke.
Three and two on Lamb.
Nice fastball, 96.
We'll see what Green does right here. If he had any trouble in AAA, it was against left-handed hitters. They hit .319 against them. It tells me, Kenny, he doesn't have that good changeup to negate a left-handed hitter. Sinker, slider. Like any young pitcher, you're looking to master that third pitch. He was throwing a splitter, kind of gotten away from it a little bit. I do love the fact that he's pounding the strike zone in the first inning.
Past a diving Headley and into right center field. Cut off in the gap by Ellsbury, and Lamb is at second with a double.
I was interested to see what he would throw on a 3-2 count. I mentioned the lefties at AAA beat up on him a little bit, and he comes right at Lamb with a 3-2 sinking fastball. And if anything that we've seen in this inning, the sinker's not really sinking much. It's kind of going side to side. Romine wants it in. It ends up middle. And Lamb, who's been a hot hitter lately, takes advantage of it.
Yeah, this is his 13th double of the year. And you can see Headley with the dive comes up short.
Larry Rothschild goes out and talks with the youngster. John, I would assume, making your first big league start, he is so amped up. Adrenaline is pumping. Does that get the sinker to maybe stay up a little bit?
He might be overthrowing a little bit, but again, I keep going back to the fact that you have a young kid in his big league debut throwing the ball over the plate. And that might sound simple to everybody at home. That is not the easiest thing to do when you are so amped up, overthrowing a little bit. At least he's throwing the ball over the plate. You would like to see a little more movement down in the zone. We'll see if Romine can get him straightened out.
Here's the left fielder, Tomas.
Now, Flash, have you ever caught somebody in their first major league start? And what'd you tell them?
Well, I did. You know, at Tampa Bay, those 5 years, we had a lot of young kids come through. But even with the Yankees, you know, Joe Torre would give me some of the young kids their first start. Chin-Ming Wang, lucky enough to catch him in his big league debut. And one of the reasons Joe did that is I work with so many kids in Tampa Bay that, you know, your job is to try to get them through the first, get them to the point where they can slow the game down a little bit and get into that rhythm. The first inning was always so important. Let's try to get that third out here.
Dribbled slowly to third. Going to be a tough play. Charging Headley. Not in time. Bases loaded. An infield single for Tomas. Check that first and third. Lamb was on second.
I mentioned it. If you're Austin Romine behind the plate, just try to get that third out. Green makes a good pitch. Tomas rolls over, an infield hit. You just want to get that kid in the dugout, let him take a deep breath and regroup. A nice play by Headley.
He's playing too far back with 2 outs. And Tomas is able to beat it out. So you're the guy who launched Chin-Ming Wang into a 2019 game winner.
I take no responsibility, Kenny. He made it easy. That's bowling ball sinker at 95 with a good slider.
Here's Brandon Drury. One and 0.
You go through those pitcher-catcher meetings before the game, and he'd always look at a young kid. Is he taking it all in, or does he have that deer in the headlights look? The young man has a confident look right now.
One up the ladder with the fastball. Now, the Yankees were taking BP earlier, and usually a starting pitcher will sit in front of his locker. And Chad Green was standing on the top step of the dugout, just taking it all in, looking around, so that he wasn't overwhelmed when he took the mound. Got 2 quick outs in the home run to Goldschmidt, double to Lamb, a single to Tomas.
He's got a hot hitter up here in Drury. Had 4 hits yesterday. And 350 over his last 25 games. So this is one of the guys who's been swinging the bat pretty well for the D-backs. You mentioned standing around just looking checking everything out. Did the same thing my first day in the big leagues. It was at Wrigley Field. Just came out, top step of the dugout, looked at the biggest scoreboard I'd ever seen to that point. Just taking it all in. You don't know how long you're going to be there.
That's right. That's right.
Just missed outside, 2-2.
Well, a good pitch there by Chad Green, and you worry again about a young pitcher when you get 2 strikes and you're going for that strikeout. Do you try to overthrow and maybe hang a slider? Did a good job slowing down mechanically, executing off the plate away.
Runner goes, 2-2 upstairs. A stolen base for Yasmani Tomas. And a 3-2 count on Drury.
This might have been a pitch he tried to overthrow.
Yeah. Yep.
And up and in on Drury. And Green reacts to the pitch that came underneath the chin of Brandon Drury.
Ooh. And the 3-2. Hit sharply to short. Oh, nice play by Gregorius. Fires and a beautiful backhand scoop by Teixeira to end the inning. Outstanding plays on both ends to get Green out of further trouble. But the Diamondbacks get a run on 3 hits. No errors and 2 men left. Could have been more, but a great stop by Gregorius and a great scoop by Teixeira to end the inning for Green. By Toyota, RAV4 Hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Everybody's talking about it. What do you think of the events that took place in Sunday's game between Toronto and Texas? Karen said no reason for the pitch, certainly no reason for the slide, and the punch brawl were the icing on the cake. Sad. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees RAV4 Hybrid to keep the conversation going. Chase Headley takes a pitch outside. Well, the reason for the pitch was the bat flip in October. That's how much it simmered with Texas. So they waited 7 games to do it. That one is sliced inside first, but then it kicks foul. Count 1-1, and things went downhill from there.
You know what? You used to see more of that years ago, but the fines now are so astronomical. One day's pay is quite a bit for the players. That's why you don't see many brawls or fights anymore in the field. You don't see hitters charging the mound as often as they used to. That doesn't happen.
Now, who was the pitcher for Texas, right? Matt Bush, is that right?
Yeah,
a young kid who kind of had his own troubles off the field.
He's not so young.
Yeah, and he worked his way back.
1 away.
Throws 100 miles an hour.
But something like hitting Batista, and there's the slide in the end result. You gain some credibility in your clubhouse when you're a pitcher. You do. Look at this right hook by Odor. Wow. It's not your typical baseball brawl. There was some fists being thrown. But whenever I see this, I always think, what's going to happen with these two teams now moving forward as far as chemistry? Sometimes it takes you to another level, Kenny. You get a little tighter.
Yeah, it can. You mean as far as these games coming up now?
No, as far as like
when they meet again.
Toronto now sticking up for each other. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Maybe they've gotten off to a little disappointing start. Texas, you come together as a team.
Yeah.
You don't like what happens on the field, but when you get back to that clubhouse, you feel like you have each other's backs a little bit more.
Well, Toronto lost to Tampa Bay 13-2 as Hicks hits a fly ball to center. Bourne is there, and Texas and Oakland just underway in Oakland. Meredith has some reaction on the brawl.
Well, Chase Headley was in the clubhouse today, and he was asked about it, and really what happened leading up to that. You talked about the Bautista bat flip, and he said, look, this is a game where emotions run high often. It's an emotional game. You should be able to react and show your emotions, but the difference is if you're doing it towards your own teammates. If you look into your dugout after a huge strikeout or you have a big hit and you turn to your teammates, well, that's acceptable. But for him, he said personally, he feels as though it goes over the line when you turn, you make eye contact with the other team, and then that turns out you're showing somebody up. So everyone has a difference of opinion on how much emotion they like to show, how much they think is okay, but he said when you make eye contact with the other team, that's when maybe you've gone a little bit too far.
Are you saying the bat flip and then he looked over in the Rangers dugout in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Didi coming home, smashes a single to center field, knocked down by Bourne. And Gregorius really swinging a hot bat, especially against left-handed pitching.
But here's my problem. They waited to the last at-bat. Why not take care of it when you faced them in Toronto again? You understand what I mean? Why wait?
Well, I think they waited because now they didn't think the other team could retaliate.
Oh, yeah, they did, though.
Yep. It is strange, though, because there's so many unwritten rules in baseball. You guys know better than any of us. And you know, maybe those rules have to be written, because the commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfred, came out earlier in the year and said he thought that the bat flip was great. Well, obviously the Texas Rangers didn't. So either it's allowed or it's not allowed. Either the players have to police it or it's not.
You're allowed to do whatever you want to do, but you also need to expect that something is going to happen in return. If you're Jose Bautista and you do that, at some point, once you get hit, you have to expect it. And you know what? He went to first base and he had a hard slide at second, so that's his prerogative. But I always felt like if you did something like that, you need to have it in the back of your mind. It's going to come back to you at some point.
Something that they're going to get you eventually.
Yep.
And now Major League Baseball is going to get a lot of the players as far as suspensions and fines are concerned. So, you know, they don't want that sort of thing happening on baseball fields. This supposedly is a family game.
Romine chops one back to Ray, fires to first, and that'll do it here in the second. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the bottom of the second inning here in Phoenix, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
Arizona, it is time for tonight's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. Well, there are still 2 guys on the DL, but they are making on Thursday. Meanwhile, Sabathia expected to be activated on Friday when he is eligible. He will be getting to start Friday as long as nothing happens between now and then. And Alex Rodriguez was actually on the field earlier today doing some running drills in the outfield and took batting practice. So things are moving in the right. Back soon.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to Alex a little bit, and he said if there are no setbacks, he could be back on Thursday as a DH against the A's. And just watching him take BP today, hit about 15 balls out, so he feels good in that sense, but he's going to be able to run.
Well, you hit him out, you don't have to run that hard.
That's true. Chris Herman leads off the 1-0 count. Lined and just past Didi in the center field. So Chris Herman with a single.
Well, Didi made that great play to end the first inning. Couldn't come up with this one, but a lot of balls being hit hard against Chad Green, and again because of the elevation on the fastball, not a whole lot of sink in the zone.
Just off the webbing of the glove and on into center field for a hit.
Here's Nick Ahmed, an outstanding defensive shortstop, but has really struggled offensively, hitting 175. Runner goes. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base by Herman. How about Herman, a catcher who in the series against the Giants played center field, and now taking off like that and stealing second base?
Why do you sound so surprised? I mean, the best athletes on the field behind the plate. Goes to center field. You could do that and also steal a bag. I actually like this play. A little hit and run by Chip Hale, the manager of the Diamondbacks. You have a shortstop struggling. There's some action out on the base paths. Kind of a little old school baseball here in Arizona.
Yeah, sometimes that'll open up a hole. And you shoot one through there and you have runners first and third. During the course of spring training, when Segura came over from Milwaukee, he was a shortstop. But they felt that Ahmed was a better fielder at short. They moved Segura to second, and they kind of shored up 2 positions. Although Ahmed is not swinging the bat, and that's why it's tough to hit 8th in the National League in front of the pitcher.
And it had looked as if Ahmed had lost his job because Chris Owings was playing center field. He's a drafted, the #1 draft pick for the Diamondbacks, and he actually was drafted as a shortstop. But Pollock got hurt with the elbow, had to have surgery, so they moved Owings to center. But then they moved Owings to short because they have to get some offense, and they got Michael Bourne. But then you looked at the lineup today, and Nick Ahmed was playing shortstop, and Owings is on the bench.
You mentioned Pollock. That's a player they really miss. One of their better players. He's going to be out for a while.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Ahmed down on strike. Second strikeout for Green.
Can you describe the swing, Flash?
Well, I think sometimes when you see a swing like this, you can just tell that you have a young player who's a little confused at the plate. I mean, not seeing the baseball and reacting, kind of expecting a pitch, guessing. And when that happens, a lot of mental demons in your head, you'll see some swings like this. Not a very good one.
Here's Robbie Ray, the pitcher, #9 batter. So Herman is at second. Grounded to Gregorius. Moving to third is Herman.
That will make Ray now 1 for 13 on the season. There are some good hitting pitchers. Madison Bumgarner comes to mind. I mean, he's been used as a pinch hitter, and I think he's got like 8 or 9 home runs in his career, but there aren't many of them. So in the National League, to me, when the pitcher comes up, it's almost like a free out. Just go hard, get him out, move on to the next guy.
Here's Segura, struck out in the first inning. Segura came all the way across the field into the Yankee dugout, and was toting along a little kid, must have been about 8, wearing an A-Rod jersey, and Segura introduced himself to A-Rod. They said, "Can I take a picture for this kid?" And A-Rod said, "Sure." And then A-Rod signed his autograph. Very odd to see an opposing player in the other team's dugout.
Out on the field, usually things like that take care of behind the scenes a little bit.
You can remember the Yankees haven't been here since 2010, so they're going to take the opportunities. Do you think A-Rod's going to be here 6 years from now? Maybe in another capacity.
2-1. I want to take a look at the Honda League leaders, and this is the hit leaders in the major leagues. Daniel Murphy of the Nationals, 56 hits. Segura, 54. Bogarts, 53. Altuve, 52. And Martin Prado having a really good year. He has 51 hits for the Marlins.
Yeah, we're coming up on a quarter pole, so all these guys on pace for 200+ hits.
3-1 to Segura.
Yeah, Michael Bourne
on deck.
He just got called up, and Segura having a fantastic year. A dangerous pitch right here. If you're Austin Romine behind the plate, Chad Green on the mound, you do not have to give in.
Off the glove of a diving Didi and into left center field. A run score. Segura's going for 2, and he will make it. A hustle RBI double. It's 2-0 Arizona.
I mentioned it's a dangerous pitch. 3-1. You're behind in the count. If you're Austin Romine behind the plate, you're hoping for a sinker down and away. You see where the glove is. And it's a pretty good pitch. Segura goes down to get it. That's elevated a little more. It would have been trouble. Maybe a gapper. It finds a seat. It's down and away, and he just hammers it right past the diving Gregorius. Another look on Yesmo, full extension. Gregorius has been busy already in this game right off the tip of his glove.
That's happened twice so far.
Here's Michael Bourne. Bourne is in the final year of a 4-year, $48 million deal he signed with the Indians, but they ended up trading him to the Atlanta Braves. Designated him for assignment at the end of spring training. Fly ball, left field, going back Hicks, and will make the play for the final out of the second. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 man left. We're going to the bottom of the second inning in Arizona, 2-0 D-backs.
Team Scout Report brought to you by Mohegan Sun. Unlimited possibilities await you at Mohegan Sun. Plan your trip at mohegansun.com. As Chad Green takes his strike, and there's the manager Chip Hale. They lead the National League in hits. In fact, only one team in the major leagues has more hits than the Diamondbacks, and that's the Boston Red Sox. And Road Warriors, only one team in the National League has more road wins than the Diamondbacks. That's the Chicago Cubs. They are tied with several other teams with 12 wins. They're 12-7 on the road, but they are lost here in the desert. They've lost 7 straight at home. As Green takes call strike 3, and that's your team scouting report for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Green batting for the first time since before he was drafted. He did foul a ball off and then strikes out looking. We're in the third. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks. Back to the top of the order, and Jacoby Ellsbury. And that got a piece of C.B. Buckner.
Talk about Robbie Ray, and he loves his fastball. Now he goes to Ellsbury and throws a slider first pitch, gets a piece of C.B. Buckner.
Collarbone. I can't feel good at all.
Well, he's got a smile on his face, so he seems like he's all right. You see how he rung up Chad Green on that strikeout, though? A little emphatic. Strike 3 against a pitcher in his first big league at bat.
It's just a pitcher.
Exactly. There it is, strike 3 on the outside corner. CB does his thing.
1-2.
Now, Flash, I noticed that C.B. Buckner and Chris Herman wear the like helmet type mask.
Yeah.
And that's the kind that you wore. What was the difference between that and the mask that just pulls over your face?
You know what? I wore that mask. The fastball's up high at the end of my career because I was having neck problems, and it was explained to me that it would be more balanced on my head than the older mask, where it was more weight on the front and it kind of pulled you forward.
Gotcha.
It's a different feel, definitely closer to your face.
I mean, if you get hit with a foul tip, that's going to ring for innings, won't it?
Well, you know, there have actually been some problems. Mike Matheny had to retire from the concussions, and he wore that hockey-style helmet. So they're actually finding out now it might not protect you as much as the traditional mask. You know, you watch Robbie Ray in his arm angle. He's got to be tough on lefties, Kenny. You know, he's not quite over the top, a little three-quarter. Throws a lot of fastballs, but it doesn't look like the lefties are picking him up very clean.
This is the Yankees' second time against Ray, starting with Ellsbury. Strike 3, and Ellsbury gets punched out.
Tough combination. Fastball up and in the pitch before, and then Ray just dots the outside corner. And this is a pitcher's pitch. You can't do it much better than that. Take a look at the arm angle from Ray. This looks like it's a different angle, a little tough to pick up for the lefties.
I thought you were talking about the arm angle of C.B. Buckner.
CB, yeah.
Ray, first time through the order. Batters hit 154 against him. Second time, 345. Third time, 421. His last 4 starts, his ERA went from 1.96 to 4.84, so he's really struggled. He's looked pretty good so far as Castro fouls that off. Ground ball is short, Ahmed. And the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3 in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks. So what was it that John Flaherty actually saw from behind that mask? The most unknown superstar in baseball. Really underrated. Since 2013, you see the ranks in the National League. Home runs third, RBI second, runs third, on base percentage second, slugging percentage first. This guy can do it, and he did it in the first inning against Chad Green, hitting a 410-foot home run against Green to give the Diamondbacks a 1-0 lead. Also, that home run had a 107-mile-per-hour exit velo. John, it's good to see you back in the booth. We have not seen you all year.
I knew we were going here.
It's great to be back. Thanks for letting me back in the booth.
Not my call. I'd have you here all the time. There's a strike.
You just play the schedule that's put in front of you, you know?
Yep.
And I think John Filippelli, our boss, realized I was a second-half player on the field, so he held me out for a month and a half.
Goldschmidt down looking.
Well, he had you in the studio. I saw you in the studio a few times.
A very few times.
Well, honestly, good to have you back.
Thank you.
One away here in the third. And here's Jake Lamb.
Well, maybe he figured you needed time to recover from your trip to Ireland.
I don't even want to touch that one.
Pitch outside to Lamb. Lamb doubled in the first inning. So the Diamondbacks have 5 hits and 2 runs. Yankees 2 hits, and they have not scored against Robbie Ray. Oh, we brought one of your buddies here to welcome you back, Randy Johnson.
You know what? I can't believe he didn't call the hotel and invite me to go out to lunch.
He'll come
I'm
up later.
shocked.
We're going to have him do an inning with you.
Oh, that would be just great.
Do we have the corresponding video?
Oh, no. First game back, we don't have to go back there. Kenny, everything was going so well.
Randy, an icon here in Arizona, is number 51 retired.
Special times with the Yankees.
Does he work for the organization? Do you know?
I think he must be getting closer to that because they just named the street outside the ballpark after him, too. 3-1. Nice piece of hitting there by Lamb as he serves it into left field for a single. The two of you got along very well when you were with the Yankees. You were his personal catcher.
I'll never forget that. Jason Bay, a nice fly ball to right field. Why do I get treated that way? You know, I actually laugh because Joe Torre's in the building, and when Joe had me catch Randy as his personal guy, the first thing he said was, "Can you yell at him for 9 innings?" Well, I took that pretty seriously, and I did. It worked out on the field. It worked out on the field.
Randy, by the way, is the special assistant to the president and CEO of the Diamondbacks.
Got good seats, too.
The Diamondbacks invested a lot in Tomas. Came from Cuba in 2015. They gave a 6-year, $68.5 million deal. It was supposed to be a third baseman. It really never worked out. Now they've moved him to the outfield. And it's still a period of adjustment for him. You know, Ariel Prieto used to be a big league pitcher. Is kind of like the translator for Tomas. He said part of the problem with Cuban players that come to the States is that in Cuba, you get to the ballpark an hour before the game. You do all your stuff real quick, boom, you go out and play. Said here, these players are just blown away that people get here 4 or 5 hours before the game with all these things to do. And it wears them out toward the end of the season. So they're kind of adjusting to, hey, there's a certain way you do things here in the States that you didn't do when you were in Cuba. And Tomas is going through that. 1-1. Right in on the hands and foul back.
I think one thing, they're being paid a lot more than they were in Cuba, so they got to expect to put more time into the ballpark, I would think. There's Ariel Prieto, pitcher back in the day.
One-two. Could not hold up on the pitch upstairs. Tomas down on strikes.
I think one thing Green's going to find as he strikes out Tomas, or he kind of strikes himself out. Tried to check his swing, goes around way too far. 4 strikeouts now for Chad Green. One thing he's going to find out, Flash, you and I were talking about it. You know, the lineups in the minor leagues, AAA, AA, whatever, there might be 2 or 3 hitters, maybe 4 at the most. They're really good prospects and decent hitters. In major league lineups, you got about all of them are here because they can hit a fastball. There might be some guys who are hotter than others, but everybody can swing the bat.
Chopped up the middle. And Castro flips to Gregorius, but the second base umpire says no, he's in there. Jim Reynolds signals safe.
It looked like Didi missed the bag when he went to touch it.
Didi's lucky he didn't get hurt right there. He kind of tried to step on the bag and completely missed it, and Lamb was sliding right in that direction. Looks like Didi's all right physically.
Here's another look. There's the throw is on the money, but he misses the bag with the step. And then Lamb comes in and knocks him over. And Lamb's going to be safe because there was no contact with the base. Good stop by Castro. And his throw is very accurate, right to the glove. Didi not sure where he is, oversteps the bag, and Lamb gets in there safely. And Jim Reynolds with the call.
Well, we know this is a good field to hit home runs and the ball really carries, but the infield is so hard as well. I mean, a lot of balls get through the infield. Like that might be a routine ground ball up the middle. Took Castro all the way in a little bit into center field.
You know, they do open the roof during the daylight hours, so you know the grass can get some daylight, and that helps bake the infield.
Yeah.
Sort of reminds me of the Texas infield at the ballpark at Arlington. One thing they're kind of experimenting with is here's what Flash is talking about, it high second
Takes
off.
off.
Yep. We're experimenting with grow lamps.
Yeah, they had those out in right field today.
Yeah. And what they do is, you know, when it really gets hot here, and that's coming in a few months, that they can't really open the roof because it'll burn the grass out. So they have the grow lamps simulate the sunlight, and they put it in sections of the field that need the grass to grow a little bit more. But you know, most of the local people say 9 months of the year is great here, but those 3 months really, really hot.
Oh, 2. But I keep hearing, Kenny, it's a dry heat.
Yeah, it's dry, all right, but when it's over 100, it's still hot.
Now the roof is open, and I was talking to a couple people before the game. They said that the ball flies out here when the roof's open. Closed, it plays a little bit bigger. The 0-2. 1-2.
Oh, Flash, you shouldn't be surprised that Herman stole a base last time. That's his second of the year.
Speedster.
So he's on pace for 8.
Count 2-2.
Nice play by Romine just to keep it in front, not your traditional block. He gets caught in between with that slider and just picks it with his glove and knocks it down. Self-defense right there, whatever it takes to get the job done.
The 2-2. Swing and a tip into the glove of Romine, and that'll do it. 5 strikeouts for Green, 3 this inning. It's almost becoming nighttime here in Arizona. Backs. Coverage begins at 8:30 with outing batting practice today in the Chevy pregame. Then we're back here for all the action only on Yes and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. We go to the 4th inning. And Mark Teixeira leads off. He had a single in the first. And there's a strike from Robbie Ray. Audi scoreboard 2-0 Diamondbacks. It'll be Teixeira, Beltran, and Headley. They just showed highlights of the 2001 World Series on the scoreboard in center field. And then they show Bob Brenly and Joe Torre up in one of the television booths. Bob is now a broadcaster for the Diamondbacks. And Joe graciously lifted Bob's hand in the air as if to say he was the winner of the fight. But an incredibly memorable World Series for all that surrounded it, the time that it took place in American history, and so many iconic moments in that World Series. And there's Bob Brenly in the black shirt.
Here's
Luis Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez, who got that memorable hit for the Diamondbacks.
Those are the two gentlemen who have their numbers retired. Gonzalez is 20 and Randy Johnson's 51, along with Jackie Robinson's 42. And the 3-2 line drive, base hit down the left field line, and it goes into the corner. Played out there quickly by Tomas. He'll fire into third as Teixeira picks up a leadoff double here in the 4th.
Well, we talked about that base hit from Teixeira in the first inning. Gets jammed a little bit, drops it in front of the center fielder. And he hammers this fastball up in the zone, drills it to left field. Gotten off to a slow start, maybe looking to have a big road trip.
Nothing jam about that one. That was a bullet into the corner.
Here's Carlos Beltran. It was so important for Beltran to hit that home run yesterday. He said his daughters and his wife kept reminding him, "You got to hit it at home, Daddy. We're not going to Arizona." He said, so it was good to do it at home. It would have been great if it was here, he said. It's still a big home run, but to do it in front of my family meant a lot. Count 1-1 on Beltran.
It's not only the home runs. Beltran, the huge stolen base numbers, RBI numbers, runs scored, Gold Glove outfielder, postseason performer. He's done it all. He was trying to tie the game with that swing. Joe Girardi thinks he's a future Hall of Famer, and he will get solid consideration. Good stop by Herman.
And here's number 400. That one is driven to left field. That ball is gone. Gone. See ya. And there he is pointing to his family. The 2-2. That one is looped into center field. It is a base hit. Teixeira will be held at third. As Bourne comes up throwing, the throw is cut off by Goldschmidt. So first and third and nobody out.
Second time through the order for the Yankees. They make a little feel for what Robbie Ray was trying to do the first time through. Now making more solid contact. Maybe a little bit off the end of the bat, but still a base hit. Going to advance to Teixeira as far as third. Going to hold him there. Joe Espada holds him up. Yankees are in business here in the 4th inning.
Well, you're right, Kenny. Robbie Ray pretty much dominated the Yankee lineup with his fastball the first time around. Now some of these veteran hitters aren't giving him that opportunity again. We'll see if he makes an adjustment. Maybe some more sliders. That good changeup you talked about in the scouting report. We'll see if he introduces that pitch second time around.
Here's Chase Headley, grounded to second. That was in the second. Diamondbacks playing for the double play. A ground ball would get 2, but give the Yankees a run. 1-0.
Since Hesley's birthday last Monday, he's reached safely in every game.
Two and 0 with runners on the corners and nobody out for the Yankees in the 4th. 2-0 Arizona.
Well, there you go. A little slider on a 1-0 count. He misses. Headley in the driver's seat here, 2-0.
Now 2-1. Yankees have 4 hits to the Diamondbacks 6. Arizona's left 5 runners on base. The Yankees 2. Teixeira's at 3rd. And Beltran is at 1st. Headley at the plate here in the 4th. Ray deals. Fouled away. 2-2.
He's had some good rips here. That last one was his best one of the 3 so far. Just a little bit late.
Robbie Ray, 24 years old, 12th round draft pick by the Nationals. In 2010, Kenny told you earlier, out of high school. Then Detroit got him in the Doug Fister deal. And now he ends up here with the Diamondbacks.
This is probably where he feels most comfortable because when he pitched in Little League, he pitched for the Diamondbacks.
Ground ball, base hit through the right side. Teixeira scores. It's an RBI single for Headley. Beltran advances to second. Yankees are on the board. It's Diamondbacks 2, Yankees 1.
Well, since his birthday, he's now reached safely in 8 straight games. He's got a long way to go to his next birthday, but still, he's hot. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, coming out to talk to Robbie Ray. Out over the plate, holes open on the right side. You can see Segura pulled over towards the bag. This one splits the difference between Segura and Goldschmidt, and the Yankees have a run.
It just looks like the Yankees have figured out Ray a little bit. You got dominated by the fastball first time through. They're not letting that happen again. If he makes an adjustment, starts throwing changeups and sliders, you tip your hat. He hasn't done it so far here in the 4th inning, and a lot of good swings.
There's Aaron Hicks. Fly ball to center in the 2nd. Still trying to find himself from the right side, which is his strongest side. He did a lot of damage on the homestand batting from the left side. He's a switch hitter. Strong side is this one. First and 2nd, nobody out. Ray deals. Could not hold up. 0-1.
That is Cubby Colbreth, Fielding Colbreth, who's the crew chief down there at first base with the call.
Well, here's the adjustment being made. A first pitch changeup, 2nd pitch slider. Sure, that was part of the conversation with Mike Butcher, the pitching coach.
Mike Butcher, the former pitching coach of the Angels for many years under Mike Scioscia.
really is the next level for a young pitcher like Ray. Being able to go to plan B. You know what? They're all over my fastball now. I got to slow them down with the off-speed stuff. Mike Mussina always talked about pay attention to the swings they're taking. If you're paying attention, if you're Robbie Ray, they're all over your fastball.
Well, one thing you have to do, if they're all over you have to throw strikes for the other pitches. And he's behind on the count to Aaron Hicks, who should get something pretty decent to hit here. I guess not. That's amped up even more on this 3-1 pitch.
Tell you what, if you're Aaron Hicks, you're looking fastball and pick a spot. Out over the plate. DD on deck has been swinging that well. If you're Hicks, either pick away, out over the plate and hammer one, or look middle in, try to get the bat head out.
Fly ball center field. Bourne back, still back on the track, and he makes the play. Both runners tag, and they will advance. Hicks gave it a ride, but it's 407 feet out there, and Bourne used up most of that real estate.
Yeah, just enough ballpark though. Make that into an out. That's the second time he's hit the ball pretty well tonight. This one was, it looked like it had a chance. Bourne was drifting. And sometimes you see center fielders just race back for the wall and then turn, but he drifted. This is a new ballpark for him. And there the runners tag as they should and move up.
Now here's Ray against Gregorius. Essentially, they were traded for each other in a three-way deal with the Tigers, with Shane Green going to Detroit. DD coming to the Yankees. He singled his first time up and fouls that one straight back. So they play the infield back except at third. So the Yankees could tie the score with a ground ball. DD had 7 hits and 31 at bats during the homestand. The 0-1. 0-2.
Here's where a ground ball to short or second for sure will turn into a run. And you can see his splits. He's done very well against left-handed pitching. They're much better than he has against right-handers. Although all 3 of his home runs against right-handed pitching.
Well, with most lefties on a left-handed batter, this right here would be a big sweeping breaking ball, but we haven't seen that from Ray. Has kind of a tight, short slider.
Popped up. That will not get a run in, obviously. Ahmed is there to put it away. And a big out for Ray.
Now you get a glimpse of what can happen in National League Baseball. You have the 8th hitter coming up. You have a base open and the pitcher on deck. Let's see how the Diamondbacks play this one. Yep, they're going to walk him.
So Romine grounded back to the mound in the second one. Get intentionally walked to load the bases for Chad Green.
And that's why Gregorius' at bat was such a big one.
I would actually like this by manager Chip Hale. There are plenty of times that a manager will look at the catcher and say, pitch around him, don't give him anything to hit. Yeah. Well, if you're going to send that attitude out there, you might as well just walk him on 4 and trust your pitcher to throw the ball over the plate against an American League hitting pitcher
who hasn't hit since high school.
Yeah.
They struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Ray's thrown 32 pitches this inning. 32 of his 67. We're in the 4th. It's 2-1 Arizona. Bases loaded Yankees.
Talked about the good hitting pitchers. I mentioned Madison Bumgarner. How about Noah Syndergaard? Drove in all the runs, hit 2 home runs, and won the game the other day for the Mets.
Well, make him throw a strike. Count 2-0.
That's when you're the manager and you're telling your pitcher to intentionally walk the 8th hitter to pitch to the pitcher. Got to throw the ball over the plate.
You got to regain the strike zone. And if you're Chad Green, you're not swinging at this one, and maybe not the next one either. Ooh. Borderline.
Yankee dugout does not like it. C.B. Buckner will get involved in a ball game at some point. You will talk about him.
Oh, man.
And he gets the same strike call right there, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded, 2-1 Diamondbacks, top of the 4th. Pitch, swing and a miss. Green down on strike, so the strategy works. But the Yankees get a run on 3 hits, and the bases are left loaded. 2-1 Arizona. Yes Network. Comcast customers will miss the entire Yankee season on Yes. There are other TV providers that carry Yes, including DirecTV, Frontier, PlayStation View, Fios, and Sling TV. Don't miss any Yankee games on Yes. For more information, go to keepyesnetwork.com. All right, we're going to go to the bottom of the 4th as Chad Green strikes out with the bases loaded. Audi scoreboard 2-1 Arizona. It'll be 8-9-1 in the Diamondbacks order against the rookie right-hander making his major league debut. Just saw Arizona GM Dave Stewart outside the booth. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "We'll be doing better if we were winning more games."
Well, maybe they don't have enough pitchers like Dave Stewart used to be. Multiple 20-game winner.
Fly ball right field. On the run is Beltran. He puts it away for the first out. He's teamed up with Tony La Russa, who is the president of the baseball operations, and Dave Stewart is the GM.
I don't think you ever faced Dave Stewart. He was not fun.
When he was in his prime, I was a backup player, and there's no way I got a chance to face him. I would watch from the dugout saying, "Thank goodness I'm not out there."
La Russa's official title is Chief Baseball Officer.
You would expect that to be a pretty good team. Tony La Russa and Dave Stewart.
Yeah, they're used to winning. Let's put it that way.
That's right. This is one of those innings in a National League game where you should have a pretty easy inning. You get the number 8 hitter to fly ball. You got the pitcher.
Headley makes the play. Guns down Ray, 2 away.
See, but the difference, National League pitchers get to the plate enough that they make contact. They can actually put the ball in play. They might not be good hitters, but you put the ball in play, you'll find a hole every once in a while.
There's always that discussion, well, who's at more of a disadvantage? National League teams that really don't have a quote-unquote big slugging DH when they go to American League parks, or the American League team. And I would say it's got to be the American League team because most of their pitchers have never hit.
Never hit, never bunted, which is big. Never run the bases.
That's probably the scariest part right there.
Exactly.
The risk of injury.
Here's Gene Segura. Let's take a look at the Jeep Hitters scouting report.
Well, he was traded from the Milwaukee Brewers here to Arizona. Early returns are fantastic. 5 home runs already, at 5 last year with Milwaukee. And you watch him when he hits, his hands are a lot lower than they were. He made an adjustment. He's having great results right now, hitting .333 in this at bat. And he's hot, an 11-game hitting streak. Actually had a base hit or a double, so it'll be 12 games.
Nice play by Headley, but throws it in the dirt, scooped on the backhand by Teixeira, and Green works a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 5th, and we'll see the top of the Yankee order. It'll be Ellsbury, Castro, and Teixeira. Yankees down by 1. Very sharp.
That's kind of his thing, right?
Yeah, it's his look.
3-piece, right?
Ellsbury leads off. And the count 1-0. Jacoby is 0 for 2. See the Cadillac scoreboard. It's 2-1 Arizona. We're in the 5th.
Recently, if you're a Yankee fan, you're always thinking if the Yankees couldn't get a lead in the middle of a ball game, you get the big 3 coming out of the pen. I don't think we're going to see that tonight.
High drive, right center field. On the run is Bourne. He can't get there. It's off the 413 mark. Ellsbury is going to third. The throw is over the head of everybody. It goes into the stands, and Ellsbury will score, and the game is tied at 2. That might have gone off the helmet of Ellsbury and into the stands. So it's a triple, and the error goes to the shortstop, Ahmed, on the relay throw.
Well, they would call that a Little League home run. But here in the big leagues, it's a triple and an error. And the game is now tied. He picked on the furthest part of this ballpark, 413 feet away.
Castro fouls it off.
Last 2 innings, the Yankees are getting much better swings against Robbie Ray.
I guess that hip is feeling better because he comes around second. This was going to be a close play. Hits him in the helmet. Ends up in the seats. We have a tie game.
That would have been a close play if it didn't hit him.
Ground ball up the middle. Smothered by Segura. Fires to first. What a play by the second baseman. Taking a hit away from Castro.
I just went through that scouting report on Segura and what he's done offensively, but a great play laying out. And there's plenty on the throw to get Castro. Take a look at his range going to his right, full extension.
He's a former shortstop, so there's plenty of range there and plenty of arm as well.
Here's Teixeira. Bat goes flying. And he asked for some pine tar from Carlos Beltran to stick him.
Like a changeup, and you can see it. You know, sometimes you start your swing and you try and hold up, and you can't stop the momentum. And you lose the bat. It's actually Drury who comes up with it. 4-13. Here's a throw from Ahmad, and it hits Ellsbury. You know, it's just thinking, if that was Eduardo Nunez, he'd have been in trouble. Because that helmet would have flown off somewhere around second base, and he would have taken it right off the noggin.
Swing and a miss. Teixeira down on strikes.
Here's the throw. Helmet is intact. The ball goes over the dugout, and Ellsbury's going to score on the error. Here it is on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. No play for Lamb.
It looked like the ball was going to beat Jacoby to third base, but Lamb was kind of retreating. You wonder if it doesn't hit the helmet, would he be able to catch it and get back to third base and apply a tag? Aggressive base running pays off.
One and two. Strike three. Beltran down looking. So a triple and a throwing error on the shortstop has tied the game as Beltran looks at a high called third strike. FC Soccer is back on Yes as leading goal scorer David Villa and his City teammates head north of the border for battle with reigning MLS MVP Sebastian Jovinko and Toronto FC. Don't miss the exciting action of New York City FC, presented by Etihad Airways, right here on Yes. Cadillac scoreboard. It's 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Chad Green in his first big league game.
Well, he had his first 1-2-3 inning last inning, but the pitcher was in the middle there. Let's see what we can do with the other part of the lineup up here.
Bourne bunts. Back to Green. He's going to have to hurry. And Bourne will reach. Don't know if that hit Bourne. We'll have to take a look at the replay.
Well, bunting's always been a part of Bourne's game, and here he is leading off an inning, trying to get on in a tie ball game. Maybe not the best of bunts, but he still has pretty good speed. Puts the pressure on Chad Green.
And it's just dropped by Teixeira. They give him an error. So it's an E3.
He would have been out.
That is a rare error by Teixeira. No, the prevailing thought was that Green, who fires a strike to Teixeira, was supposed to start on Wednesday in this series. But after the game yesterday, the Yankees decided, let's start him Monday and give Pineda and Eovaldi an extra day. And they called Green into the office, and rather than tell him he was going to start, they said, can you hit? They said, well, in high school was the last time I hit. They said, well, you're going to have to hit because you're starting tomorrow.
It kind of leads you to believe he didn't get much batting practice.
His first base coach, Dave McKay, who has always been with Tony La Russa back to their Oakland Athletics days and St. Louis Cardinal days.
And keep an eye on Bourne. He came into the season with 326 steals.
I was just thinking that, Kenny, how does a young pitcher handle this situation? You have a veteran player who can run. You mentioned the stolen bases. But you have a big bopper at the plate who's already taken you deep. You want to pay attention to the running game, but your focus has to be on Goldschmidt.
Bourne's trying to measure. You can see him over there trying to get a jump.
Imagine Goldschmidt standing in the batter's box. 3-0 will have the green light, but he loves that Bourne is on base because he knows it distracts the pitcher and he's going to get some mistakes.
And he walks on 4 pitches. So trouble for Green and the Yankees, first and second, and nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. And Larry Rothschild out of the Yankee dugout to talk with his young right-hander.
This might be a chance to get the bullpen time to warm up.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees.
We were told that Chad Green lives with the sinker slider guy, and in this situation, obviously looking for a double play as Nick Goody gets his gun hot. And I don't think it's really played out that way. You know, a lot of balls that have been hit hard, an overwhelming amount of ground balls, but he would love one here.
You talked about the lefties being tough on him. Jake Lamb is 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, you'd love to see that third pitch, a changeup or a split, but it's been fastball slider all night.
Oh, 0-1. 0-2.
Big spot in the game for Green here, heading to count 0-2 as a young kid. Can you make a couple of quality pitches here to a good left-handed hitter? A miss off the plate.
I like that pitch right there. Sometimes you'll see a hitter see the ball, he'll start, can't check his swing, put the ball up there in his eyes. How many times you saw Mariano do that over the years? The head on the count.
Bourne really got off a second. It looks like Romine is hurt.
He did a great job blocking the slider in the dirt. You wonder if it came up underneath his mask and maybe got a piece of his throat. We'll take another look at it. Slider in the dirt, goes down with his glove, and it comes up right underneath the mask. It's a scary feeling. You have trouble breathing right away. You panic maybe that something is really wrong. You'd love to just tuck your chin just a little bit if you can.
How about the instinct, though, John, right away to grab for the baseball?
I mean, you know that something is not going to feel right, but obviously you're worried about the runners on base first. It looks like Austin Romine will be fine. Nice play. See, he has that little bar there protecting his throat, but if you don't tuck your chin, it doesn't do much good. Think back to Steve Yeager and that piece of plastic that he used to wear. A great look at it from the side.
Two-two. Driven deep to right field, and that ball is foul.
That didn't quite have the crack of the bat sound. Lamb was a little out in front.
2-2.
Anyway. And usually the hitter will tell you right away what he thinks about it, and he turns around and comes back.
First and second, nobody out. Bottom of the fifth. 2-2 game, 2-2 count on Jake Lamb. Three and two.
Watch Austin Romine behind the plate. You've shown everything to Jake Lamb in this at bat. Fastballs up, sinkers down, sliders down. Where do you go 3-2? It's a helpless feeling when you're a catcher behind the plate. You've shown all your bag of tricks. Foul ball after foul ball. Green just went right at him with a fastball. Again, I'll say it, if you have that split or a changeup, there's another look, but he hasn't thrown it tonight.
Three-two. High drive right field. Going back, Beltran. Turning, looking. See ya. A three-run home run for Lamb. And Arizona leads 5-2.
Well, Flash, you were right on it. Lamb is now 3 for 3 tonight, and he's now driven in 10 runs in his last 10 games.
Well, you can see why the lefties have given Green a hard time in the minor leagues. The numbers I mentioned earlier, over about 319. Well, watch the pitch by pitch to a lefty hitter. Good slider. It's ahead in the count right away. Good fastball, 0-2. Now what do? You elevate, change the eye level, good pitch. Come back with a slider, good play by Romine. This is a mistake that he gets away with. Lamb a little quick. Fastball misses, 3-2. He comes right at him. Good swing that he fouled off. And then you're wondering, where do you go again? There aren't a whole lot of weapons left. There's the foul ball. And here's the next fastball right down Broadway. Green knows it.
Fly ball, right field. Beltran back on the track at the wall. It's over his head and up against the wall. Tomas will stop at second with a double. Well, it all started by a drop throw by Mark Teixeira, and it's tumbled down since that. A walk, a 3-run home run, a double, and that will do it. As Joe Girardi will signal to the bullpen, Chad Green's first big league game is done. He'll turn the ball over to Nick Goody. Yes, is brought to you in part by the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands is a world away, but less than 4 hours from New York. Go to visit CaymanIslands.com. By Buick, experience the new Buick for yourself at Buick.com. And by Mohegan Sun, unlimited possibilities await you at Mohegan Sun. Plan your trip at MoheganSun.com. Well, the Diamondbacks chase Chad Green from the field. Knock him out with that double by Tomas. So Tomas is his responsibility at second. And now Nick Goody will take over with nobody out here in the fifth, and the Diamondbacks leading the Yankees 5-2.
Good numbers for Nick Goody, and he pitched Friday against the White Sox, a career high 3 1/3 scoreless innings in that game.
And here's Brandon Drury. +4, 8 hits, 5 runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts.
The lone walk came in this inning, and that was the Goldschmidt. That kind of the error, and then the walk kind of set things in motion.
It really comes down to it, you know, to get through a major league lineup multiple times is tough for any pitcher. And when you only really have 2 pitches, it's even tougher. I think we saw some of the at-bats. The Diamondback hitters had him sized up a little bit third time through the order, and they made him pay.
Fly ball center field. Ellsbury will make the catch. Tagging is Tomas. And the throw comes into Didi. So 1 away, runner at third. So here's Chris Herman. And the Yankees bring the infield in. Strike from Goody. 0-1. Herman is singled, stole a base, scored a run, and then struck out.
You see the infield in, and if you're Goody and Romine behind the plate, that means you got to jam the left-handed hitter with the fastball and go down and away. Try to get that ground ball.
Now you got him set up for a strikeout if you can get one by him here.
And the 1-2. Still 1-2.
Got him to chase, but he just got a piece of it. Nice fastball up, and that's, he got it up there, but somehow Herman got just a piece of it to foul it off and keep the at bat going.
So Goody throwing strikes. Tomas is on third. Another foul ball.
I thought Romine might go out and have a talk. That was not a very good breaking ball right there. We're heading to count 1-2. Kenny mentioned it. You're looking for that strikeout. Bounce the off-speed pitch. Elevate the strike zone up out of the zone or pound him inside. Got away with a mistake right there.
One-two. Fly ball. Deep center. Ellsbury back. He'll make the play. Tagging and scoring easily is Tomas. It's a sac fly for Herman, and it's a 6-2 Arizona lead.
Looked like another breaking ball was out over the plate. Herman put a good swing on it and drove it onto the warning track in center field. There it is. Kind of hung a bit. He knows he got the job done. I don't think he thought it was going out of the park, but he knew he had driven in another run.
Here's Nick Ahmed. And Goody deals. Foul back. Ahmed is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to right. Ahmed hitting just 172. And now when he drives into right center field, long run for Ellsbury. Turning, looking, he's going to play it off the wall. And Ahmed will stop at second with a double.
Had something up and out over the plate. This is going to be his 5th double of the year. I'll tell you what, the ball really jumps here. They said it's a good hitter's ballpark. Michael's right. Roof's open, ball's flying. Outfielders in the chase mode.
And that'll bring up the pitcher, Robbie Ray. 8th batter to come to the plate. Fouled away. Ray is grounded to short and grounded to third. 6-2 Arizona. We're in the bottom of the 5th. The D-backs with 4 runs this inning to break a 2-2 tie. And there's a base hit to right center field. Ahmed will score easily, so Ray helps his own cause with an RBI single. It's 7-2 Arizona.
Well, the Diamondback dugout, they've had some struggles lately. Kenny mentioned getting swept by the Giants. These guys know how to put the ball in play, and he just got a fastball right down Broadway. It's so deflating when an opposing pitcher gets a base hit to drive in a run.
Here's Segura, RBI double in the 2nd, struck out in the 1st and grounded to 3rd in the 4th. One and one.
Now Segura was already an all-star before he came to Arizona. He was an all-star with Milwaukee in 2013. It looks like he's working on another all-star type year.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
You're right, Flash. You don't see many hitters carry the bat that low.
No, it reminds me of Nick Markakis when he was with Baltimore from the left side. The hands are so low. Right away, you're thinking we can elevate and try to sneak some pitches by him, but he's hitting 330, so obviously that hasn't worked.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. So that will do it. But the Diamondbacks send 9 batters to the plate. They score 5. They lead 1. We go to the 6th. 7-2 Arizona. Games on TV. Now you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app and take the Yankees on Yes with you wherever you go. Available only for DirecTV, Optimum, and Time Warner Cable subscribers. So now school is in session. This is what you did wrong. This is what you have to do better next time. So Joe Girardi firsthand with Chad Green, who showed some flashes that he could be a decent pitcher for them, but didn't have a put away for some left-handers. And certainly, again, that is school in session.
5 strikeouts, 1 walk.
And now another teacher comes in. That's Brian McCann. So the Yankees have some catching up to do. They're down 7-2 as we go to the 6th, and Chase Headley will lead off against Robbie Ray. Headley with an RBI single and a ground ball to second. It's been a long climb, but he's over 200 at 206.
Hitters will tell you that means getting off the interstates.
Kenny, I'm sure there were not too many times where your batting average was below that line. I had plenty of times that it was there. And it becomes embarrassing. It really does. When you show up at the field and on the big scoreboard is 150 or 160.
I was rolling around 180 one June.
I remember when I was with Tampa Bay, we had a sports psychologist.
Good hitter.
Well, named Harvey Dorfman, and and I was hitting about 150 in the middle of May, the worst offensive year of my career. And he would say, you know what, your batting average doesn't define you. And I'm like, well, Harvey, when my job is to try to hit, that 150 that's on that board defines me day in and day out.
Looped out to Segura. He makes the catch for the first out. So Segura shows some great coverage. Now we give you greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Jackie Bradley Jr. named American League Player of the Week. He's been outstanding. And Jose Fernandez named National League Player of the Week for the Marlins. Some news and notes from around Major League Baseball.
The thing about it, when it comes time to negotiate, your average does define you, doesn't it?
Defines your salary.
Exactly.
There was not much negotiation that year, so I think I hit just over 200 and took a pay cut, Kenny. So that's how much I negotiated. Take a pay cut.
You should have told him about your defensive skills.
I did. When you see Chase Headley kind of fighting his way through this, and getting that batting average over 200, that's the first step. And then you kind of look forward, where every at bat is going to be a grind trying to salvage your year.
Same thing applies to Hicks here, although he's hit the ball well twice tonight. He's got nothing to show for it, and his average has dropped under 200.
I watch his swings tonight in that 3-1 ball he drove to center field. He looks dangerous to me. I think if Joe Girardi's watching from the side, this guy has a chance to do some damage lately. Good swings from the right side, just missing deep drive ball to center field, foul ball right there. Some pretty good swings.
High fly ball, left field. Tomas back for the second out.
That's another just missed.
Yep.
Let's see what happens with the swing here. It looked like a breaking ball that was up and maybe just got underneath it. Not quite driving the ball. It looks like it's headed for the sweet spot, or maybe got in on the label a little bit. Kept the head down. Good swing.
Gregorius takes inside 1-0. This will be the 100th pitch for Ray. Chop over the middle. The shortstop Ahmed grabs and fires, and that'll do it as the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 7-2 Diamondbacks. Old Timers Day with the Yankees. Come see your favorite Yankees legends put on the pinstripes again and take the field at Yankee Stadium. Relive memories of your favorite former Yankees and make new memories with your family. Get your Old Timers Day tickets today at Yankees.com or by calling Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Another Major League debut. First it was Chad Green, now it's Connor Malee. See what he did in the minors. 12 games, 1.42 ERA, 25 strikeouts in 19 innings. Interesting story for this young man. 24th round pick for the Yankees in 2010 out of what was then St. Peter's College in New Jersey, now St. Peter's University. He needed Tommy John after 1 season, came back in 2012, but after 5 innings, the pain returned. The repaired ligament had torn off the elbow at the bone. Surgeons inserted a screw into the bone to hold the ligament in place. But when he still couldn't throw without pain after 6 months of rehab, Dr. James Andrews reattached the ligament somewhere else near the elbow. So this has been a long time coming for Connor Malee, his Major League debut. And while he was trying to come back, during rehab, he worked at his father's insurance company. He worked as a waiter. He also got 4 courses into his master's degree.
Perseverance. I mean, after that second surgery, I mean, just inserting screws and just.
I can't even imagine the amount of hours of rehab and the amount of thoughts in your mind that this is never going to happen. And now you're on the field, Major League mound. It's a great story. Congratulations.
I want to thank Donnie Collins of the Scranton Times-Tribune, who had a lot of that info in a story as he was pitching for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. And Bourne walks. Here's Goldschmidt. He had a welcome to the big league moment for Chad Green in the first inning. A long home run with 2 outs in the first. Nobody on. And there's a strike. Castro shades up the middle for the righty swinging Goldschmidt.
One corner, then hits the other one. Jumps out ahead. Right to the glove. A little movement on that fastball as well.
Another player who's tied into a long-term deal that favors the team, but he took the security in March of 2013, a 5-year extension for $32 million. And the club has an option in 2018 for 14.5. So you put Paul Goldschmidt on the market right now, he's getting a lot more than that, probably double. Swing and a miss. And Malee with his first strikeout in the big leagues.
Brand name.
And they throw that ball into the Yankee dugout.
I was walking on the field before the game, and I passed Connor Malee. And the press guy says he's 6'3". He's taller than that. 'Cause I was looking up at him. I'm 6'4".
Here's Jake Lamb. He is a triple away from the cycle. A double, a single, and a home run. 3-run home run in the 5th. A big blow against Chad Green. There's a strike from Malee.
Well, it looks like he settled down after that leadoff walk to Michael Bourne. And you're right, Kenny. A nice little movement down and away. Covering both sides of the plate. If you're Austin Romine, you're thinking, you know, I got something to work with here to try to get a double play ground ball. Shows you a little change up with a nice little fade away.
Runner goes, big jump, no throw, a stolen base from Michael Bourne.
Speaking of no throw, he didn't throw over the first one time in his last 2 hitters, and that's giving Michael Bourne way too many looks at your move to the plate. The fact that he went a little too soon, but still was able to make it standing up. And it's Bourne's first stolen base as a Diamondback.
Two, 3-2. Runner at second, 1 man out. And Lamb walks. So 2 walks issued by Malee, putting runners on first and second, and that brings up Tomas.
Still no contact this inning. 2 walks and a strikeout. Let's see if that sinking fastball works and you can get a ground ball here.
Infield single and a stolen base in the first inning. A strikeout in the 3rd, a double to right field that knocked Green out of the game in the 5th. Way outside. 1-0. Right on the thumbs and grounded to short. They get the force at second. That's all they'll get.
There's your ground ball, Kenny.
Why would you even swing at something? It looked like it was tailing in. He might have swung at it in self-defense. It might have hit him in the chest if he didn't put the bat on it. My goodness. This bat had no chance of coming up to another plate appearance.
Little piece of wood just flies out and said, okay, I'm done. Right there. You that little piece of wood?
Yeah, I see it. It's now a toothpick.
All right, here is Drury with runners on the corners and 2 outs. One and 0. Ties him up. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Fielden Culbreth. One and 2. And the 1-2. And the bases are loaded as Drury gets hit.
That was the same pitch that Tomas hit.
And Larry Rothschild will come to the mound to talk with Malie.
There's been a lot of conversations. Larry Rothschild and some young pitchers making their major league debut. It's underneath the 2-seamer. It's going to move in, up and in, and it gets a piece of Drury.
I don't think he was wearing an elbow guard. It looked like it got him on the elbow. Put you on the funny bone. You arm kind of falls asleep.
Now catcher Chris Herman.
Well, here's Chris Herman with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And a strike to Herman. Missed inside, 1-1. Yankees trying to hold it right here at 7-2, give themselves a chance in the final 3 innings. Diamondbacks looking to put up a big number, maybe put it out of reach. Two and 1. And the 2-1 pitch. It's 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th inning. Conor Malie, his major league debut. And the pitch. Think he's overthrowing, John?
Overthrowing a lot of time. The evidence is the ball sailing underneath, up and in on righties, or up and away to lefties. Aaron Rothschild's going to get on the phone to the bullpen.
Well, he's one pitch away from getting out of it without any damage or walking in a run.
Well, the runners will go 3-2, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And the righty deals. And he got under that one. Way up and away. So a walk to Herman. That forces home Bourne. And it's 8-2 Diamondbacks.
Score a run without a hit.
Well, we've seen it before. Things get going awfully quick during your major league debut if you can't find the strike zone.
Phil Koch is up. Here's Nick Ahmed. 0-1. And Romine wants to talk with Mali. Ahmed is 1 for 3, doubled and scored a run. And the big 5-run 5th for the Diamondbacks. 1 run in already in the 6th. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And that one gets away from Romine, but not far enough.
Yeah, he just got enough of it to slow it down, keep it from going back to the screen. Here's another look. Target's in. Kind of yanks it towards the outside corner. And good job by Romine.
Self-defense foul ball. 1-2. Previous 4 games, all losses for the Diamondbacks. They came in the 5-game losing streak. They scored 7 runs. They have 8 tonight already. And looking for more. Ground ball to Headley. Goes the short way. They get the force, and that will do it. So Mali gets an inning in the big leagues. He gives up a run, leaves the bases loaded. 8-2 Diamondbacks. Earlier this year at the age of 90, was honored today here at Chase Field. What a career he had. First as a catcher with the Cardinals, where he won a world championship, and then he became one of the most iconic broadcasters in broadcasting history, not just baseball, and he did that here with the Diamondbacks as well, and the Game of the Week on NBC. He was a fixture here in Arizona. The whole broadcast wing here in the ballpark named after Joe, and some of the great moments in his career. The guy hosted the Today Show, hosted game shows, the Game of the Week on NBC, worked with some of the most iconic people in the broadcast industry. And oh yeah, he was born and grew up on the Hill in St. Louis, right across the street from Yogi Berra. He used to joke, he said, not only am I not the best catcher in baseball, I wasn't the best catcher on my street growing up. And there's his son, Joe Garagiola Jr., works in the Major League Baseball offices and used to be the GM here with the Diamondbacks. And he was part of the ceremony as well. A nice ceremony before the game.
Remember watching Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek on the Game of the Week every Saturday?
Romine chops one to Segura. One away. And this is the hill where Yogi and Joe Garagiola grew up. And Yogi went to the Hall of Fame as a player, and Joe as a broadcaster. Imagine that, growing up right across the street from each other. Pretty neat. Dustin Ackley will pinch hit for Conor Lee in the number 9 spot in the Yankee order.
You know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know a whole lot about his playing career. A catcher who won a World Series, handling what, the Cardinal staff.
Yep.
In my generation, like you, to your point, Kenny, knew him as a broadcaster for the Game of the Week.
And he used to play down the fact that he was not a good catcher, but he was a pretty decent ball player.
He had 4 hits in a World Series game.
And one thing I left out, he also hosted The Tonight Show when Johnny Carson would go on vacation. And one of the shows that he hosted, his guests were Paul McCartney and John Lennon. So the guy could do it all. Ackley chops one left side, fielded there by Lamb, and they just get Ackley for the second out. That'll bring up Ellsbury, who tripled off the 413 mark in right center field. And then the relay throw, as he was going to third, hit him in the head, into the helmet really, and then bounded into the stands, allowing him to come home. And that triple and subsequent E6 tied the game at 2. But the Diamondbacks have not looked back. They scored 5 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th. They lead 8-2 on the GMC scoreboard.
At that point, when Ellsbury scored, it seemed like the momentum was swinging in the Yankees' favor.
There's a strike.
But then the Diamondbacks came back and scored 5 in the bottom half of the inning.
.108 pitches for Robbie Ray, trying to pick up his second victory. 1-2. And the pitch to Ellsbury. Swing and a miss. Ellsbury down on strikes. And after that triple by Ellsbury, and Ray has retired the last 9 Yankees in a row. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 8-10-1 for Arizona, 2-6-1 for the Yankees. Chad Green, his major league debut, lasted into the 5th inning, didn't get an out in the 5th, so 4 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Robbie Ray, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Goldschmidt, a solo home run. That's the first hit allowed by Green in the big leagues, 2 outs in the 1st. And Jake Lamb, a 3-run home run, the big blow in the 5th inning against Chad Green. Phil Gosselin is going to pinch hit for Robbie Ray. And for the Yankees, a new pitcher, Phil Koch. So Koch against Gosselin here in the bottom of the 7th. GMC scoreboard 8-2. Arizona over New York. Again, it's been a big concern for the Yankees this year. You got to get a lot of innings out of the bullpen. There's a ground ball, booted by Gregorius. That'll be an E6.
Well, you can see DD saying, my bad. You don't see this every day. It's did such a great job the second half of last year into this year. It's caught in between right off of the heel of his glove.
There's Gene Segura against Koch. And that got him. So he'll take first. Now you wonder if Chip Hale goes by the same set of rules as the CEO of baseball operations, Tony La Russa. He would say, hey, if you hit my player, even if you don't do it on purpose, I'm hitting 2 of yours.
Well, you can see it's a first pitch slider. Romine setting away. Ends up inside. Looks like Romine got clipped as well.
Missed the target by plenty.
Back to the top of the order, or number 2 spot in the order, Michael Bourne. Laced into left field. It is a base hit in front of Hicks. Everybody advances a base, and the bases are loaded, nobody out.
That happened fast. Didi makes an error, hit by a pitch. Broken bat, base hit to left field. Phil Koch's thinking to himself, what's going on right here?
Yeah.
Phil, his last outing Wednesday against Kansas City, 3 1/3.
Well, the last 2 innings, the Diamondbacks put plenty of men on base. Probably more men they put on base than in the whole Giant series.
Here's Paul Goldschmidt. Fouled away.
It's funny, Michael, you mentioned Tony La Russa and hit batters. I think it wasn't it was the playoffs, yeah. And one of our pitchers was Mike Flanagan, happened to hit a White Sox player. And he didn't do it on purpose. We knew it. But Tony La Russa wanted to prove something. Hit Cal Ripken leading off the next inning. Richard Dotson almost hit Eddie Murray. Eddie just stared at him and hit the next pitch in the upper deck. And that was the end of throwing it Eddie Murray.
Yeah, he definitely took that attitude to all the places that he managed. Yeah. He did not want his players hit. They said, even if you don't mean it, if you know that one of your players is going to get hit, you're going to pitch a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, but, you know, throwing at those 2 guys.
Ground ball to short. There's 1. There's 2. A run scores, and it's 9-2 Diamondbacks as Segura moves to 3rd.
And if you're Didi Gregorius and you've made an error to open up this inning, you want another one. You want a redeemer. And this is a double play ball that a run does score, but he's feeling a lot better about himself here. There's one right on the money. Castro, and then over to the Sheridan, turned to double play.
Here's Lamb again, a triple short of the cycle. Single, double, home run, walk. And a strike. A 1-1. 1-2. Still 1-2. Strike three. Lamb down looking. One run, one hit, one error, and one left. We go to the eighth. Rocket arms. Clayton Kershaw leads the major leagues with 77 strikeouts. Then Jose Fernandez, NL Player of the Week, 69. Max Scherzer, 66. He had 20 in one game. David Price, 65. And Steven Strasburg, he had the new $175 million 7-year contract. 65 strikeouts. Those are the strikeout leaders so far in the bigs.
Were you surprised that Strasburg signed the extension?
Well, I was surprised because his agent is Scott Boras, and Scott has historically shown that the closer you get to free agency, he doesn't think you should sign, because if you're that close to free agency, you might as well go for it, because then you'll have 30 teams bidding for you rather than just one. But I guess the deal was so good that Strasburg wanted to take it, and ultimately the agent works for the player. Hyundai scoreboard 9-2, Arizona over the Yankees as we go to the 8th. Andrew Chafin is the new pitcher. And the count 0-2 on Castro. To be Castro, Teixeira, and Beltran. These are the numbers. This is the 19th game. Less than a hit per inning. 16 strikeouts in 13 innings. 7 walks. Opponents hit .255 against Chafin. The 0-2. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. And he'll get tagged out by Herman. Well, you're going to see it. You'll see managers do it constantly. If they could somehow dig a left-hander out of the woodwork, they are going to run that left-hander against the Yankees, and it proves that the Yankees can hit left-handers. It's a different team against righties. Now, with A-Rod coming back Thursday, that should help matters.
One more thing about Strasburg. I always felt when you have the possibility of being a free agent, you are less likely to leave a team that you're on if it's already good. I mean, he's already on a good team. If they can satisfy you monetarily, there's no reason to leave. So I guess you know, enough's enough. He got enough.
And that's the question. One guy's satisfied is another guy's not. But $25 million a year seems like it could do the job. 1-1. Now 1-2.
Kenny, you bring up a great point about the Nationals should be good for a long time, you would expect, but also that personal happiness with an organization who doesn't know anybody anyplace else, and obviously not interested in finding out about anyplace else. But if there were some tension, which I'm sure there isn't because he re-signed, that's when you maybe would want to go out and see what the market looks like.
Now I wonder if this had been last year in the same situation. You know, it was a different situation, a different manager.
Yeah.
There was a little more edginess on the team.
That one's past Segura and into left field. Teixeira with a good night. He's 3 for 4.
These are the at-bats in a game 9-2 at this point in the 8th inning. Mark Teixeira still grinding it out, trying to get back on track, and another hard hit ball.
Well, he's had one blooper and 2 solid hits tonight. He's had a good night. 3-hit night for Mark Teixeira. That's his second 3-hit game of the season.
One and 0.
You know, Kenny, you bring up Dusty Baker in Washington. I didn't think he would get another opportunity to manage with this new age analytics, sabermetrics, and it's kind of refreshing to see the old school baseball guy having some success.
Grounded to third. There's one. And there's 2. Beltran hit it hard, but an around the horn 5-4-3 double play. No runs are hit, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 9-2 Diamondbacks. Game day live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at that, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. All right, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Chase Field, where the roof has been open since the start of the game.
Kind of gives you that Seattle feel, doesn't it? Well, their roof functions a little differently than this one. They have 2 halves meeting at the middle, and Seattle is just one big elongated slide.
Tomas fouls it away. Hyundai scoreboard 9-2 Arizona. Ground ball in the hole. Stopped by Gregorius. Gets to his feet. Fires. Got him. That's a good play by the Yankee shortstop.
Man. There's a lot of shortstops cannot make this play. Man, what a play. Sliding, gets up quickly, and then guns it across the diamond to get Tomas.
Yeah, I think that's a difference, Kenny. A lot of the shortstops might be able to get there and knock it down, but to come up and have that much arm strength.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
Right, that's the defensive play of the night right there. Both sides. Segura made a pretty good one earlier in the game.
Driven the other way, giving chase is Beltran on the run, and that's going to be off the base of the wall. Playing it out there is Beltran. And Drury thinks about 3, and now he's hung up. Bad base running by Drury, and he is going to be tagged out for the second out. He rounded second, and Beltran threw behind him.
Well, he got a little greedy. That's what happened here. Beltran picks it up. A little bobble. Maybe that's what made him go to third base. 9-6-5 on the play. He's kind of caught no man's land. There's Headley applying the tag for the out. Here is second. There's the bobble. I'm going to go to third. Now, wait a minute. Beltran recovered a lot more quickly than he thought he would, and there's the out between third and second.
And Herman grounds one up the middle of base hit. That's his second hit of the night. He has 2 ribbies, 2 singles, a stolen base, and a run score. A lot of columns filled by Chris Herman, the catcher. Here's Nick Ahmed.
Michael, did David Cohn do the games with you in Detroit?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Well, Coney didn't like this sort of like runway from the mound to the home plate, if I remember correctly?
Didn't like it.
Yeah, I was watching the game, and he just went off on it. Did he give a specific reason?
He said if you think it narrows the focus of a pitcher, he said it has nothing to do with that. You don't even notice it out there. It's just it's something that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, maybe if they put little runway lights then on either side.
Now that strip was Buck's idea because he was running pretty much the baseball operations. Got hired 2 years before the franchise even took place, and he designed that just to have a throwback to the old days when they used to have that that walkway with the pitcher. And a lot of people think that that walkway is what caused Mariano Rivera to make a rare throwing error because the ball kind of spun off in the 7th game of the World Series, and it rained for just an instant as well. So the ball was wet and spun off differently. I mean, everybody has an excuse, but.
Well, that's kind of the play that set things in motion.
I remember I went back and asked Buck about it because David said there's no way that Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson even cared. And Buck said, you should ask Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. He said they really like that. I think David called it eyewash. That one is drilled to left field. On the run is Hicks. He can't get there. And it goes to the wall. They're waving Herman home, and he will make it. It's an RBI double, and it's 10-2 D-backs.
Phil Koch had a little bit of bad luck in the 7th inning, but in the 8th, the Diamondbacks are hitting a lot of balls right on the nose. Ball out over the plate. The Diamondback shortstop trying to get it offensively, get it going a little bit. There's a couple of doubles tonight.
Ricky Weeks is going to pinch hit for the pitcher. Every hitter in the starting lineup with a hit tonight. As Kenny likes to say, they're all on the party.
All at the party. Some got there a little later than others, but everybody's having fun. Well, we told you in the scouting report, team scouting report, they lead the National League in hits. The only team in baseball with more hits than the Diamondbacks, Boston Red Sox. Just of late for the Diamondbacks, many of their hits haven't come with runners in scoring position.
Off the glove of Roman.
Here's the pitcher the Yankees will be facing tomorrow night. Zach Greinke.
Now, we've told you they have not played that well at home. 10 home games, last 10 home games before this one. 8 for 66. With runners in scoring position tonight, they're 5 for 15.
Be interesting to see Greinke tomorrow night. Got off to a tough start after signing that big contract.
Oh, what a play by Matt Williams, third base coach.
Years ago, he used to make those for real as a third baseman. Not far from his element back in the day. One more look. Nothing to it. Like riding a bike. Flash could go out there and stop a ball in the dirt right now.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, he was the Nationals manager last year. Let go, and Dusty Baker's taken over. And the 2-2. 3-2. Ahmed is at second, 2 men out, 3-2 count, 10-2 Yanks, bottom of the 8th. And he walks the pinch hitter Weeks. So a rough inning for Phil Koch. I might have inadvertently said 10-2 Yanks. It's 10-2 Diamondbacks. Here's Gene Segura. Fly ball right field. And that ball is off the wall. 2 runs will score. Segura's at third with a 2-run triple. It's 12-2 Arizona.
The Diamondbacks taking out a little frustration after that San Francisco Giants series. Segura has just had an incredible start to his Diamondback career, not letting up tonight, driving this one deep to right center.
Just missed a home run. I think they were 4 for 31 with runners in scoring position against the Giants.
Here's Michael Bourne. And there's a strike. So 3 runs in, Segura at third. The 0-1. 1-1, 12 runs, 15 hits for the Diamondbacks, 2 runs, 7 hits for the Yanks. Diamondbacks have left 10 runners on base. The Yankees 5. So the Yankees have a great homestand. Head out west, and this road trip starts with this game, which has not been good. Chop to first. Teixeira. That'll do it. Diamondbacks score 3. They lead 1. We go to the 9th. 15-2. Yes is brought to you in part by your Tri-State Kia dealers. Visit tristatekiadealers.com to learn more. By People's United Bank NA, keep business at hand with mobile cash management. And by your Tri-Honda dealers, hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2016 models. That's been all Diamondbacks as they lead the Yankees 12-2, 12-15-1. Arizona 2-7-2 for the Yankees. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Randall Delgado. Diamondbacks carry 6 righties and 2 lefties in the bullpen. And Chase Headley will lead off. 1-0. Headley an RBI single. He's 1 for 3. Those are the numbers on Delgado. 1-1. Opponents hitting .310 against the right-hander. Fouled away. Reminder, tomorrow we're back at it again. It'll be Michael Pineda against Zach Greinke. And then on Wednesday, Nathan Eovaldi against Shelby Miller. So Greinke and Miller, the two big acquisitions for the Diamondbacks.
You'd have to say they've been disappointed so far early on with both of those guys.
Diamondbacks kind of shocked baseball when they made the trade for Miller last year. And they sent the #1 pick in the draft, not just the first round, but the first pick in the draft, Dansby Swanson, to Atlanta for Shelby Miller.
Prior to the game, I was talking with the Yankee left-hander Chasen Shreve, and he was interested in catching up with a lot of these players on the Diamondbacks as Headley strikes out that he had come through the Braves minor league system with. And a lot of them are now playing for the Diamondbacks, including Randall Delgado, who's on the mound right now. Drury was another one. Nick Ahmad. So several of these Diamondback players came over in trades with the Atlanta Braves.
Here's Aaron Hicks, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Grounds that one foul. Delgado deals. 1-1. Diamondbacks scored a run in the first, a run in the second. The Yankees got a run in the fourth, a run in the fifth. So after 4.5, it was 2-2. But 5 runs in the bottom of the fifth inning kind of broke it open for Arizona. And they've scored every inning since. 1 in the sixth, 1 in the seventh, 3 in the eighth. And that all adds up to 12-2 Diamondbacks. 2 more games here in Arizona for the Yankees, and then 4 games in Oakland against the Athletics.
That Oakland series should see the return of Alex Rodriguez and CC Sabathia.
Alex on Thursday. CC should start on Friday. Two. Up the middle, a base hit, past the diving Ahmed, and into center field. So Hicks with a 1-out single. Tonight, stick around after the final out for the WB Mason postgame on Yes. Ryan Root goes back in the studio with highlights and a recap of tonight's clash here at Chase Field. Plus, Meredith Marakovitz has the clubhouse reaction. All that and more to come only on Yes.
So Hicks has hit the ball hard, I would say 3 times, and he had it just missed.
He deserved that hit tonight with some of his at-bats.
If Ahmad had caught that ball.
Here's Gregorius. And there's a strike. One. I'm sure that Gregorius put some pressure on himself coming into this game. Wanted to show Tony La Russa and company they made a mistake trading him. He and Ahmed used to switch back and forth between second base and short. And they decided that they would trade Didi. Been that sort of night.
Like on the side of the foot or the ankle. Never fun, folks.
Swing and a miss. Gregorius down on strikes. Yankees down to their final out. And that'll bring up Austin Romine. Ninth Yankee to go down on strikes tonight. And the pitch outside to Romine. Austin 0 for 2 and was intentionally walked. Ronald Torreyes is on deck. He would pinch hit for Coke. The 1-0. 1-1.
What you're seeing tonight is one of the primary differences between American League and National League ball. Number of pinch hitters used in this game. You just don't see that in the American League, or very rare. Bench players, I feel, stay sharper in the National League.
Yankees down to their final strike. 1-2 count on Romine. And the pitch. 2-2.
Herman tried to bring it back over the corner. C.B. Buckner would not raise the arm.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Delgado deals. Swing and a miss. And that'll do it, as the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees 12-5 in the first game of this 3-game set in the Valley of the Sun. So the Yankees will think about it overnight. They'll send Pineda out against Greinke tomorrow. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up from Chase Field. Stay right here.